1 versus 1000. Part 3. A name they'll never forget. Some men are born to follow. Others are made to rise. But a few, they rise even when the world commands them to fall. Kill. Bow and arrow, a battle born from belief. The battlefield was now thunder. Villagers, outcasts, survivors, all inspired by one man's impossible stand, charged into the past like a river of raw defiance. Xeron soldiers, trained to fear nothing, found themselves shaking before peasants wielding farm tools and shattered swords. What? Because these people weren't fighting for power. They were fighting for freedom. They had watched a man spill blood, bone, and breath for them. Kale had become more than a warrior. He had become a cause. Person standing the final duel. At the rear of the Xeron force, the general of the 1000, Lord Vyrek, sat astride a black warhorse. Clad in obsidian armor, his sword was twice the size of a man's arm, a symbol of dominance. He watched his army falter, his men retreat, his numbers collapse, and in the middle of it all, Kale stood again. His wounds bled freely, his breath was ragged, but his back was straight. "So, this is the man who broke my legion," Vyrek muttered. He rode forward. The final confrontation. Vyrek dismounted before Kale, towering over him. "I should kill you quickly, but legends must die painfully." Kale chuckled softly, spitting blood. "Legends don't die. They become your nightmares." Vyrek roared and struck, his sword a hammer of death. Kale barely blocked, the impact sending a shockwave of pain through his ruined body. This wasn't a battle of blades. It was a battle of wills. Fire, the clash of purpose. Vyrek was power, refined, merciless, trained. Kale was pain, endured, accepted, weaponized. Each strike threatened to end him. Each parry defied fate. Kale's world blurred. Sounds faded. His body gave out again and again, but his spirit refused. "Why won't you fall?" Vyrek shouted in rage. Kale's reply was a whisper that echoed louder than any war cry. "Because I already did. I just got back up." Broken heart flashback, his father's last words. As Vyrek's sword cut across Kale's chest, another memory burst through the pain. The night his village burned. His father's final words, whispered as he was dragged away. "You are not weak, Kale. You are waiting. One day, the world will know." Kale screamed, not in agony, but in defiance. The strike that ended silence. Vyrek raised his sword for the final blow. But Kale moved first. With the last ounce of strength, he plunged his blade through Vyrek's armor right into his chest. Silence fell. Vyrek staggered back. "This isn't possible." Kale collapsed to his knees as the tyrant crumpled beside him. Sunrise over mountains after the storm. The battle ended. The 1000 fell. Not by power, but by purpose. Kale lay in the dirt, body broken, eyes half closed. The people surrounded him, some weeping, some cheering, all in awe. A boy touched Kale's shoulder. "You won, sir." Kale smiled faintly. "No, we did." His eyes closed, not in death, but in peace. Dove legacy of a lone warrior. Kale was taken back to Elden Reach. He survived barely. His scars would never fade, but neither would his legend. The Xeron Empire never recovered from the loss. Rebellions ignited across the land. The myth of the one who stood alone became a battle cry for every oppressed soul. Statues were raised, songs were sung. But Kale didn't want statues. He lived simply, quietly, watching the world he helped free. And sometimes children would ask, "Is it true? You fought 1000 men alone?" Kale would smile and reply, "No, I fought my fear. The men were just in the way." Final words, the message. This is not just a story of swords and war. It's a story of what happens when a person refuses to break. When a soul chooses belief over fear. When one stands alone, not for glory, but for something greater. Glowing star, the takeaway. You may be alone. You may be outnumbered. You may be weak, tired, or forgotten. But if your will is unshakable, if your heart beats with purpose, you can move mountains. You can face the 1000 and win. Checkered flag, end of story.